I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to a very special episode of Oops, the Podcast. I'm Giulio. I'm joined here by Francis.
Oh, the
Cheers,
boys.
baby.
Happy 200, fellas.
200 episodes.
200 episodes.
And very serendipitously falls precisely on Chris's birthday.
That's it. If you are listening to this right now and you have the opportunity to pause the episode and have a drink with us, I would suggest running to the refrigerator and doing that because we are going to have a few pops while we record and shed our tough outer skin and really get to the core of matters today.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Yeah.
Chris had the great idea, as he typically does, to sort of poll people for unresolved questions that you might have.
Yeah, or updates.
Updates on things that we talk about. And I think, Chris, that was a good idea because occasionally we will get a message about, what's the deal with this or that.
Yeah.
We like to revisit these topics as our community continues to grow and people are more interested in what's going on.
Yeah, we've talked about so many things over the course of the last 200 episodes. And we thank you all so much. So many of you have heard every single episode, which is just, it's a lot of time that you've spent with us, and we're so honored that you've done that, and that you're along for the ride. We feel like you know us and we know you, and hearing from you guys is the most invigorating thing. And so now we want to answer some of your questions.
Totally. I mean, you guys literally, if you knew us any better, you would literally know how it feels to caress our lower back.
Yeah.
That's literally the only way you could know us better than you do.
Do you want to hear? This is how I by the way, I found out that the podcast had legs recently, was that I ran into a guy who I was hanging out with for a bit, and he learned that I was a comedian, and then he Googled me on the spot while I'm with him, and he just put my name in, and the first 3 or 4 Google searches that came up was Francis Ellis comedian, Francis Ellis stand-up, Francis Ellis Barstool or whatever. And then it went Francis Ellis Sierra.
Oh, wow.
But get this. That had never happened before 2 weeks ago because I mentioned her name for the first time on the podcast a couple weeks ago.
And people started searching.
And people started searching to see what she looks like.
That's crazy.
And so much so from the podcast that it kicked that suggested Google search towards the top.
Dude, I love it. That's so cool.
That's
really fucking cool.
Sleuths. Bunch of
you sleuths.
Diggers. You guys are all digging, mining for picks out
Love
there. She's a lovely lady. Don't bother her. Please. All right, Chris, why don't you fire up the questions for us?
These are all kind of random, and then as I took them, they are. So the first one I have is how it was funny. People thought it was funny how you weren't too keen to Koji at first, and now he's just your little man.
Yeah.
He's your little buddy.
I can't even. He's been away for almost 10 days now, and I am not doing well. I'm doing better than I did when Sierra went away. And I will say that she and I have been more affectionate with each other. And I fear that Koji is this sponge of affection. When I walk into the apartment after being away for a long day, I hug him first. I get on the ground with him. I roll around with him such that by the time that I'm ready for my embrace with Sierra, I don't have a whole lot left to give.
Dude, that's great.
Yeah, so how
Koji.
At first you weren't too sure of him, and then what happened?
Yeah, I realized that he is a very well trained dog, so a lot of my fears of him being a nuisance were allayed. And he's just incredibly low key. And I think once that happened, I started to really appreciate his quirks and his his funniness. He's so funny.
Dude,
And-
first of all, get out of here with that. He's very well trained. Like, he may be very well trained, but like, the things that his quirks would have bothered you before now. His loud breathing. If any part of your body is laying horizontally on the ground, it's getting humped immediately.
Yeah, but that stuff is funny
Dude,
to
it's
me.
funny
now.
as fuck. It's great.
Yeah.
But you just love him. He's a little golden ray of light.
I
Dude.
think when you go through the quarantine with a dog, it bonds you that much more strongly, and he was always a constant source of happiness.
he's the best. Dude.
Yeah, he's great. So I'm glad people have recognized that, and I miss Koji, the Koji man.
Koji
He's back on Sunday.
Gotta get him back.
People are confused because we haven't talked about Jackson Hole in a while. So what's up with that?
I think we put a moratorium on it. We were like, we gotta let that sleep for a bit.
Easy on the hole.
Yeah.
But apparently someone sent us some Jackson Hole t-shirts.
No
which
way.
I'm excited for those to arrive.
Hell yeah.
I will
dude.
happily rock that shit, dude. They're fire too. I'm
Sweet.
excited. Hopefully
Sweet.
those are actually coming.
Thank you guys. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I guess we kind of talked about this a little bit in the last one, but people want to know how your dad's doing, Julio.
That's funny. What do you mean? Was something wrong with him?
No, they're just like,
Just
we
like,
want an
how's Mr.
update on
G doing?
Julio's dad.
We gave a pretty good update
Yeah.
last episode.
Yeah.
He's up to his old shit, eating dessert, fucking running around, causing trouble. Dude, when he drives around, my mom literally calls him Mr. Magoo because like he'll go, look how beautiful the brownstones are, and he'll start driving 5 miles an hour. And there's 7 cars behind him. And I'm like, Dad, there's other people on the road. He goes, fuck them. Dude, then we're waiting to parallel park. We like find a spot. He calls it the Gallerati luck. He claims that he always can find a spot. It's like, all right.
The
Dad.
Gallerati luck.
The Gallerati luck. So dude, he'll be sitting there and we're waiting for a person to pull out. So, they put their kid in the car. He goes, he's doing like angry commentary the whole time. He's like, oh, great. This person's got to strap in their fucking kid. I know they do the GPS. Like, come on. He's like, what are they doing in there? So like, it's taking them forever to pull out. Great. Then we get the spot. When we get back in the car to pull out, all of a sudden he's sitting in the seat, wearing his seatbelt, looking at baseball scores while there's somebody waiting to pull into our spot. And Zio Butch will be like, yeah, you're doing the same thing that you say people do. He goes, Butch. He's such a hypocrite. It's so funny, dude.
Am I ever going to meet your dad?
Dude, yeah.
Does he know who I am?
Dude, my parents love you.
Oh.
My dad goes, first of all, and they love you in a funny way. Like, my mom loves you. She goes, oh, he just seems like such a nice guy. Like, you guys have and my dad goes, yeah, man, Francis, he's funny. Like, me and him, we'd be talking shit. Like, he thinks that like you and him would like, you and he would just like get along, cracking jokes. I'm like, Dad,
I think we would. We
Leave
have
the jokes to the
we share a
comedians.
fondness for desserts. We would each get our own dessert
yes, true.
because we both understand and how annoying it is to share. By the way,
My dad's cool though, dude.
a quick aside. I went out to dinner last week on a Friday night with my girlfriend and then one of her very close friends. And believe it or not, Abba, although
surprise.
it wasn't like a double date. It was just like, those two are friends of ours. And so we weren't like trying to set them up or whatever. When it came time to order, right? The other girl, who I love, by the way, immediately was like, why don't we get a bunch of things and then everyone can have a bite?
Mm.
And was ordering as though she was out with her girlfriends.
Yeah.
And girls do that.
We'll have one shrimp taco.
Yeah, there's
We'll have one.
a universal kind of, I feel like, unspoken understanding that they're just all gonna share.
Right. Girls share clothes. They share fucking everything.
Everything. And I was like, And it's not so much that I didn't think that there would be enough food.
Mm-hmm.
Because if that were my fear, I would just order more shit.
Right.
It's more like, if we're going to order entrees, there's definitely one that I would want more than others.
Right.
And I would like that
As
to be
your
my
thing.
primary entree.
Totally.
I will happily give bites of it out,
Mhm.
but I want at least 50 40%, the lion's share of the thing I've chosen.
Right.
And she didn't get that.
She pushed back on
She
that.
was
That's
like-
annoying.
Well, she didn't understand it. And then my girlfriend was like, you gotta let him have this. Because she's understands how I'm
Yes,
wired.
Yes.
And
That's great.
it was amazing to me how like the different the mindsets were.
Yeah. Dude, it's funny, but to your point, like I fully understand that, especially if you're ordering for the table in a way where it's like, you get fucked over. Like this salad comes out and then like somebody decides they're going to kind of dictate the portions and you're the one who gets the first scoop. And because you're getting
Yep.
the first scoop, they're being conservative because they want to make sure there's enough for everybody.
Mhm.
And suddenly you have this like meatball size portion of salad.
Yeah.
You end up getting fucked. The move is to like order a few things for the table as an appetizer and everybody orders their own shit.
That's it.
That's how you do it.
And I just, the other thing was that is this a bad move? If it is, share plates.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's passing the plates around, scooping a little bit off. First of all, it screws up the presentation. Because the way that the food is plated by the restaurant, they've put it all on there with the right amount of drizzle and the right amount of crumble and the right amount of things on top. So that if you all of a sudden start sliding it onto your plate as though you're on like a ship
Yeah.
that's like sliding around, you're not getting it in the right order.
Totally.
You might get sauce before the whatever, you know what I mean? So I don't like that.
And if you get too like OD with the way that you're procuring your portion, you look like a weirdo.
Yeah.
So you want to try to stay casual.
Right. But here's my thought, right? If I watch one of these share plates go all the way around the table and I'm the last person to serve myself, am I allowed the rest? Is what remains on that plate mine?
The answer is no. And that's another drawback.
That's bullshit.
It sucks.
Everyone at that table should serve what they want.
No, what you have to do is you have to kind of like eye it for 20 minutes and then be like, is anybody gonna?
And
No,
wait
no,
till
dude, it's all you. It's all
Wait till
you.
it is stone cold.
Yeah, exactly. And
We
you're
were
all
eating-
anxious the whole time.
We
like
were
hoping,
eating outside and it was cold on this night. And
It's rough, dude.
when the plate finally got to me, I started just eating what was left off of the plate upon which it was served. And I could feel
Yeah,
judgment.
scorn.
the scorn, you're not even going to transfer it. I'm like, why would I transfer it to my plate? It's what's left is left.
Dude, brutal. Can we talk about another issue?
Yeah.
The biggest fucking scam of our time is guacamole.
How so?
Oh, do you like? Well, they assume you're automatically going to get guacamole for the table. They're like, oh, you want a single or a double order? It's like you're fucking ordering a cocktail in London.
Yeah.
Oh, you want a double? It's fucking 30 pounds for a vodka soda. They're like, oh, you want a double? And it's $78 for a fucking guacamole that's served in a stone presentation that the guy makes next to the table.
Yeah.
He gets chips and salsa for free, but guacamole is more than a plate of enchiladas. Explain that to me, dude.
I think this is a great point, and I will piggyback by saying that people who assume that there are universal, like, well, of course we got to do that. Of course we have
Oh,
to have
God.
that. Like, you always get the burrata. You always
Dude.
get the calamari. Of course, everybody likes those things. Wrong. I do not like calamari. I don't hate it, but I don't need it.
Right. I don't
So
need burrata either. Fucking
How dare
milk
you
stuffed mozzarella. Fuck outta
assume
here.
that because everyone at the table is universally in agreement that we're getting the calamari, we're getting a calamari. Fuck that noise.
Totally.
Dude,
Fuck that noise. Okay.
miss me
Okay.
with that shit. Okay, I am.
girl.
We are out to dinner, and I am paying. I am buying what I want. And if you want to charge me more because my entrees cost more, fair, totally fair. I will pay for my fucking food. I don't go out to dinner that often. I want what I want. I'm not, and if there's something that I want from your plate and you want a bite of mine, absolutely, you can have that. But don't assume that we are living in fucking Soviet Russia and every single portion needs to be divvied exactly down the middle
Yeah,
in perfect accordance where everyone gets an equal share.
Dude, totally.
That's nonsense.
nonsense. But dude, you know what else I hate? I hate when somebody orders for the table because they want to like be Mr. Cool. Like they want to
Yeah.
like look like a big shot. And then they just expect to split the bill. It's like, dude, we didn't discuss any of this shit that you ordered.
Yes.
Why did we get 2 pitchers of margaritas that no one wanted and a bunch of appetizers?
I
no
will
one wanted?
say, there are, if the group is greater than say like 6, like if you're at a group of 10 people,
Mhm.
especially if it's at like a Mexican restaurant, I don't mind one person taking the charge.
Totally.
charge.
But it's a thing that is sort of either everybody's on board with, and sometimes you don't even have to say, you're kind of like, why don't you order? But like I have friends who they want to like get the credit for ordering
Yeah.
well or something, and they don't order well, and then everybody has to
They
split
want to
their
look
stupid.
like Tony Soprano.
Exactly. And it's
Yeah.
like, dude, if you're gonna pull that shit, you're fucking picking up the bill, pal.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
I would never say that, but I will say this. In those situations, when somebody decides that they have no shame and they call them out on it, I'm always really happy that that person did it.
Interesting.
Even though I will never do it. I'll begrudgingly split it because I don't want to look like a cheap fuck. But when somebody's like, dude, why don't you stop fuck? You just ordered everything. I'm just like, you go, girl.
Yeah.
You fucking, you go, girl.
I commend anyone who has the gumption to do that. I will also add that the problem with those huge group dinners is that people start adding things on because they think they need to get theirs. And what I mean by that is like
All
there
right.
that's where you end up seeing groups of people add like, oh, I'll have an after dinner espresso. If one person orders an after dinner espresso, 9 people
Yeah.
add their espressos.
Any other
And that
espresso?
jacks the bill up another fucking $200, you know? And
well, I hope. What kind of espressos are these, dude?
well, you know,
Okay, but yes, okay, fine.
you know what I mean. But
Adding
like,
on
or
desserts,
someone
bullshit.
will order like a glass of port, and you're like, what the fuck?
Who are you, dude?
Who do you think you are? No, you don't drink port. You're just it's becomes
You're
an
trying to be
arms
cool.
race
Dude, yes.
to try to like justify the fact that they thought they got boned on the appetizers.
Louis the 16th, dude, it's a classic.
Yeah, right. It's like I
Fuck
love
off.
port. No, you don't.
No, you don't.
Okay.
Sorry.
Back to the
Love a
questions from
good
the
tangent.
fans. Sorry, we
That
had
was
to run. I
great.
gotta get that off my
That was
chest.
great. Just 2 guys who we actually love going to dinner though.
Yeah, we do.
Contrary to popular belief
Yeah, we do.
after that rant.
Yeah.
Will there be new episodes of Pack Light?
Oh wow, that's a great question. So in short, I think so, but this Rwanda stuff did so well that I'm kind of focusing more on doing the video element. I also think it's like easier to execute, maybe more compelling with like, yeah, it seems like maybe it's a strong suit of mine to host that kind of stuff where I feel like Pack Light, even though it's interesting, I feel like it takes away my personality just a little bit because it's scripted. And I think maybe that takes away from it. I don't know if you guys agree with that. I'm certainly open to doing more of them. I kind of just like need to figure out the logistics, but that's a good question. But if you guys want more, definitely let me know because it's one of those things where I can certainly be convinced.
Cool. Love it.
Yeah, just ask him 3 times.
So,
Oops, matchmaking. Any updates on that?
Do we?
Yeah, so they essentially they were last time we checked, they were FaceTiming and trying to figure it out. He lived a few hours away. Apparently, we're not huge in Burlington. We haven't had a ton of Burlington. Although a couple people have hit me up being like, "We want to set up our boy," and then nothing's really come of it. I think that is still open ended in case anybody wants to swoop in who's in driving distance from her.
Got it.
Sweet.
We're in beta on the match.
You haven't talked
Yeah.
about your little alter ego yet on the podcast.
Little Young
Your-
Big.
No. The Instagram filter one.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it is funny.
You got
No,
anything to say about
Hello.
Hello. My favorite one, and I think people enjoy this, was when I referred to Hillary as my boyfriend. And then to the fact I go, my boyfriend don't give me no attention. That is also in beta. We're gonna see more of that character as long as the pillow face continues to exist on Instagram. It's been a funny thing where like I get a lot of like hate DMs for it. That's like, dude, stop doing this. But then eventually it turns into them being like, dude, like I never thought I'd say this, but it's my favorite thing in the world.
It's good. It's
I
good.
needed to go to bed at night.
Dude, what is her name again? You gotta come up with a name for her.
So it's unclear if it's a he or a her. And I'm leaning towards like Javier but I also don't want to make the person a specific
Yes.
ethnicity
Mhm.
because I think that the accent is ambiguous enough that it doesn't have to have one. So we need to think about that a little more.
Choose an androgynous name. Choose
Yeah,
one that
yeah.
works for both. And then do the laugh for us one time.
Dude, I have no idea
the
where that
laugh
came
is
from.
really good. I can't do it, but it's so good.
Dude, insane. That's great.
All right. We got some big updates coming up. Our old pal Noah, how's he doing?
Oh my
Oh,
god.
baby.
Okay.
Give a brief summary of who he is
So,
if people haven't listened.
Noah is one of the most OG sort of storylines from Oops the podcast.
Truly, dude.
I think I mentioned him for the first time on the episode where we had Corinne Fisher on.
Oh, wow.
It was super, super early. And Noah was this kid that was DMing me. I think he was like 14 or 13 at the time. And he was so funny. And he was like a big fan. And he was like asking me these insanely personal, innocent questions. And so I was going back and forth. And then I made this joke that I thought like if I played my cards right, that in 5 years, if I waited till he was 18, I could bang him. Was how I put it. And he heard it and thought it was funny, which was shocking. So I asked him how he's doing for an update, and this is what he sent me back. I go, "What's up, dude? How you doing? Send an update." He goes, "I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. As we speak, I am typing an essay, but I'll put that on hold for this. I got signed by a U16 Tier 1 team in Boston that has a NAHL team. The NAHL is the North American Hockey League. It's a
Sick.
junior hockey league. And they can bring us up into the league because our head coach is their assistant coach. So I get to move there in August. But since we last talked, I got an aluminum boat that I am working on with my dad. So that's cool. Oh, and we also got a mini pig. We named him Impossible Whopper."
That's fucking funny. I thought he was going to say we named him Francis. That would have been great.
Dude.
Impossible Whopper.
Oh, I got an aluminum boat. Oh, and a mini pig that we named Impossible Whopper. I go, "What is a mini pig?" He goes, "It's a small version of a small pig. I'll send you a photo of him when I get home." I said, "What are you writing your essay on?" He goes, "The essay is on the effects of countries after World War II, and we had a list of countries to choose from, so I chose England and Israel. I am late on it, but he's allowing us to turn it in late." I said, "Great. Just tell him Impossible Whopper ate your first draft." He go-
Dude.
He goes, "I wish I could say Whopper ate my first draft, but it's online. I'll just say he ate my computer."
Dude, that is great.
So fun,
That's
dude.
a great update.
This kid is awesome.
What a like sincere. Remember when you were a kid and you thought people cared about your shit? Like you didn't need to hear about the boat.
No.
But like he doesn't know
He
that
gives
that's
me
weird.
everything,
Yeah.
man, and I dig it. I feel invested in his life. I'm gonna stick with this kid.
Dude, I love
I
it.
stand by him. You know.
Noah's fantastic. That's
Yeah.
very fun.
Imagine if
Latest
Noah
on
grew
Noah.
up and became an NHL superstar.
Hell yeah. Hell
Dude,
yeah.
it sounded like, I didn't even know they did U16 stuff for hockey like that.
Yeah, I feel like,
It's like a soccer thing.
there were kids in Maine. Hockey was big in Maine, and kids either elected to play in the juniors or for the high school team. Most didn't do both because the juniors was so demanding.
Right.
A lot of these kids who do juniors for hockey, they end up like moving,
Yeah, tennis is the same way.
staying with like homestay families
Yeah.
in rural towns and nowhere.
Minnesota. and
Yeah,
shit, dude.
exactly, and just like living hockey.
It's crazy. It's funny, like where I grew up, I literally think was the cutoff. South of where I grew up, no one liked hockey, and north of where I grew up, everybody liked hockey. Like right, Middletown, Connecticut is essentially the town is called Haddam, Higginham, shout out. Higginham, Haddam, whatever.
Hmm.
Confusing. Higginham is part of Haddam, I think, whatever. But literally in the middle of Connecticut. And then north of there, it becomes kind of like Red Sox territory, which is also sort of like hockey territory.
Yeah.
And it was interesting. I mean, obviously, we both went to school in Boston. It was new to me, the hockey craze.
Yeah.
But I know, obviously, you grew up with it. So.
Well, Boston is such an incredible hockey town for college hockey. You know,
Totally, man.
Between the bean pot and all that stuff, it's great. So
Electric.
yeah, man.
Good shit.
All right, what next, Chris?
Speaking of old friends, Boston Bro Job Bob, how's he doing?
Yeah,
Dude, so I saw that was going to be one of the questions today. So we reached out to him for an update because I kind of just assumed there maybe wasn't going to be another update, or if there was, he would send it to us. But it's interesting that everybody wants to know what went down there. So we're going to read this for the first time because actually when we started recording, he was actually still typing this response.
Yeah, quick 20-second synopsis. This is a guy who reached out to us. He had come out of the closet, was reconnecting with an old friend who did not know that he was gay. When they met, and he had hopes that he could end up hooking up with this straight
he had
friend
sort of like
his.
this very strong gaydar
Yeah.
about this guy. Like there was no reason for him to think that this guy maybe was into it, but
Yeah, and they did reconnect. They like hung out and went out for drinks, got super fucked up. Our guy, Boston Bro Job Bob, sort of put the moves on this guy. The guy rejected him initially and was like, no. And then the next day, the friend told him to come over to his house where Boston Bro Job Bob earned his name.
yeah.
Gave him a bro job. And this
Sending
other guy.
Snapchats. I don't know if that's what happened the first night when they hooked up. Or like, I thought that like maybe Bob sort of was like, okay, I don't want to tempt you anymore. You have a
Is that what it
girlfriend.
was?
Yeah, I'm not totally sure specifically.
Well, whatever
but
it
if
was.
you guys are asking for updates, you remember better than we do.
Whatever it was, they ended up hooking up. They've been hooking up. The other guy has a girlfriend
Yes.
who does not know that this guy, her boyfriend, is cheating on her with a guy.
Yeah. And we kind of discussed that in detail, but here is the update. He goes, to keep it short, he's actually decided to break up with his girlfriend.
Oh my God.
He made up a reason because the truth, ... After listening to your pod, I told him would be too much for her. Right. Which I think.
Yeah, that's right.
That's a whole separate conversation. We can get into that, but we'll keep going for now. We don't think we're going to date, but now that he's single, he wants to try more things sexually, like anal, etc. The girlfriend is most likely never going to know, as once he broke up with her, she blocked him on everything. He's a nice guy, but we're probably just going to remain friends with benefits. The craziest thing that'll most likely happen is he wants to make a sex tape with me, just in case he never experiments with a guy again. I'm thinking about it, so any advice would be great.
Wow.
He's probably the most sexual guy I've ever been with, so the idea is hot. Much love to you and Francis. I said, dude, thanks. Excited to give people the update. Good luck out there. He goes, thank you. I'm so surprised with how this turned out, but the more wild and crazy we get sexually, I feel like I want a relationship soon. Not with him, but in general. Oh, and on a funny note, he thinks he might be a bottom sexually, at least for me.
Wow.
I think he means like the funny note, because he's like, if you know what that means, in my opinion, I doubt he was ever really straight.
Yeah.
So I think I accidentally turned this straight guy completely out. Have a great 200th episode. Thank you, Bob. You're the man.
Yeah, what a great guy. And I completely agree with him. I feel like this guy, did not need much of a nudge to go from being a quote unquote straight guy to being, fully out of the closet gay.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he's not easing his way in whatsoever. It's as if he's saying, this is going to be an experimental minute of my life, and I want to cross every box I possibly can.
Yeah.
And then close the chapter, and
Yeah.
who knows?
I think the sex tape seems pretty harmless to me, to be honest. Like,
Why do I don't know, man.
Listen,
That's strange that he wants to, for what, memories, to revisit this?
well, it maybe sounds like he's struggling with the idea of living as a gay man, whether or not he even wants to do that or not. Again, we're not putting people in boxes here. He's enjoying experimenting, or maybe he's enjoying doing what he's always wanted to do. And if he's unsure about whether he wants to keep doing it or whatever, he wants a little something to fucking stroke it to, it sounds like.
Fine. But if he's unsure about his being comfortable being a gay man, I don't know that.
Is that insulting to Bob or something?
No, I was gonna say I don't know that getting hard evidence of it is a normal like way to combat that.
Well, let's say let's. Yeah, no, you could
Do you know
definitely
what I'm
be right.
saying?
I was thinking about
It's
it
like
from
the
Bob's.
exact opposite thing I would do if I were uncomfortable
Right.
with something. Like if I
No,
were
totally.
uncomfortable,
You wouldn't want hard proof of it.
yeah.
But I was talking about from Bob's POV since he's our protagonist here.
Yes.
Is
right,
there
right, right.
any sort? But dude, great discussion topic, absolutely, and I agree with you. It seems like if it's a guy who's trying to like put that behind him or whatever for whatever reason he's decided, maybe having like hard evidence isn't the move.
Yeah, I mean, because it sounds like he doesn't really want people to know, right?
It's sort of unclear.
And if you don't want people to know about something, making a tape of it
Right.
is leaving the
incriminating.
largest trail of breadcrumbs you could come up with.
So what I would say to this guy is, dude, fucking make the sex tape and
Do whatever you
don't
want,
don't be secretive about it. Just live your fucking life. You know, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
I think Bob, as far as Bob goes, it doesn't seem like too high risk of an activity. If you think it's hot to make a video, fucking make a video.
Yeah, I think Bob actually is somebody we should all learn from because he's kind of so comfortable with all of this and just rolling with the punches and kind of letting the world come to him,
Right.
which is great, you know, good for him.
Yeah, but everybody's getting what they want out of this situation. It's a little fucking taboo fun that's become a little less taboo. And I wonder, quite frankly, if the sort of novelty of the situation is going to wear off once
I was wondering that
once
too.
the scandal is taken out of it.
Yeah, I wonder if this guy was like, okay, I left my girlfriend and I told my parents that I'm out, ready to be my boyfriend, Bob. Bob will be like, nah.
Yeah, it seems like that's potentially the case. Yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully this guy isn't a clinger.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we didn't cover here? We're gonna date. We're not gonna date. This and that. Yeah. And as far as him lying to the girlfriend about the breakup, everybody in this story sounds pretty young. I don't necessarily think it's the worst thing in the world. I think we typically lie when we break up with people anyway to soften the blow, like we were talking about in that disappointment spiel we were talking about. There's a way to soften the blow when you're giving somebody really bad fucking news. And you don't want to tell somebody, I'm breaking up with you because I'm not attracted to you anymore. And the thought of being with you honestly disgusts me. You'll never say that to somebody. Right. So you make something else up. You say it in a way so I don't think there's any problem with him being like, we need to break up because I'm not into you anymore, because maybe that's true. Or maybe I'm not feeling it anymore.
Yeah, right.
You don't
He
need to
doesn't
be
owe
specific necessarily if it's going to hurt them.
Right. He doesn't owe it to him. Yeah.
On a separate note, for our 200th episode, we'd also like to thank one of our favorite sponsors over at Brooklyn Roasting Company.
Yeah, Brooklyn Roasting Company.
Incredible coffee, really cool brand.
It's so delicious. I have it every single morning. I drink I love their Iris espresso blend. A lot of the coffees that they have are named after things that are here and local to them in Brooklyn. Their roasting plant is in the Brooklyn Naval Yard, which is where the big Wegmans is. If you've ever been down this way, it has such a great local vibe. The company was killing it before quarantine. They took a big hit. They're trying to come back. We love them. We want to do whatever we can for them.
And the products are great, dude. That peanut butter is like crack.
More importantly, yeah, this was a product and a company that I subscribed to before we ever even broached the idea of collaborating with them on the podcast. And I actually reached out to them and I was like, I love your stuff so much that I would hope to bring more eyeballs to it and introduce it to some of our fans. And they were on board and we love them. Get some of their coffee. Go to brooklynroasting.com. Use promo code OOPSBEANS, one word, and you'll get 5% off at checkout. Get their coffee. Try it. It comes in an awesome tin. You'll love it. Get some of their merch. And then the coffee peanut butter is to die for. I just had some on a banana. You guys were watching.
I was watching him.
Yeah. So
eat your heart out, Noah.
Brooklyn Brooklyn Roasting Company. Yeah.
Chris, what else you got?
I don't know if you guys would necessarily want to talk about this, but I'll ask you anyway. Do you guys have a blackout story that you don't remember, but your friends had to tell you about?
Not really.
So I have never fully blacked out.
You know what? I actually do have one, but Francis, go.
But yeah, I mean, I don't have a whole lot more to that. The drunkest I ever was probably was my 22nd birthday. I remember I fell down a whole flight of stairs that were carpeted. Fortunately, we went out to a nightclub in Boston on a Wednesday night, and it was just one of those nights where, people were buying me shots because it was
Which
my
one?
birthday. It was called Splash.
Okay.
You know that place?
I don't think I think that unfortunately that was after my time.
Interesting. Okay, because I think it was a big BU
Yeah, because I would have definitely
nightclub.
gone. We did that.
Did you go to Tees?
Mm. Oh, Tees Pub?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just closed, by the way.
Tees was huge.
Tees Pub closed.
Yeah.
We used to go to Tees, yeah, but that was a place where you needed to be 21.
Yeah.
Like those bars up in Brookline and Alston,
Right,
like you needed,
right.
if you had a fake, they would like take it from you.
So we went to this place and everyone's just buying me tequila shots, and it got to the point I still remember where I remember something happened where all of a sudden I remember the tequila tasted like water to me. And I remember thinking man, they really watering the tequila down at this nightclub. But the reality was I had just had 18 tequila shots. So I couldn't even taste it anymore.
Yeah, Jesus.
And then I went home, probably threw up before bed, woke up the next day. My girlfriend at the time took me out for the next day, I think was my real birthday. And so she took me out for lunch, and I spent the entire lunch in the bathroom throwing up.
Oh.
Didn't touch the food that she had gotten for me. I felt it was horrible. But
Sucks
worse
ass.
than that, we had lacrosse practice at 6 p.m. Okay? 6 p.m. the next day. And I went down to the fucking training facility where you get your ankles taped and stuff. And I told the trainer, I was like, I am so violently hungover and sick from it that I can't keep a sip of water down. And he was like, dude, I don't know what to do for you. Take some aspirin, try. And I was like, okay. And we went up then back into we had to watch film for in the locker room for half an hour, 45 minutes before we went out to practice. And the locker room where we were watching film was connected to obviously the bathroom. And there was no door. So at one point I got up and went into the bathroom and was throwing up. And I'm loudly, there's no way to do that quietly. And everyone's hearing me do this during film. Everyone's hearing, and a bunch of guys on the team had gone out with me the night before. So they all knew. This was late in the season. We were on our way to the Ivy League tournament. It was we were playoff bound. It was serious. And I was playing. And so it was not a good look.
That sucks. Dude.
And fortunately, the coach asked me are you all right? And I was like, yeah, food poisoning or some bullshit. But the whole team knew, and then I had to send the team an email being I realized that being that drunk at that point, 7 p.m. the next day from drinking the night before is not acceptable.
Oh God.
And
they're the ones who got you all fucked up.
Yeah, but I could have been on shot number 17, I could have been I'm good.
Yeah, as they said in Mortal Kombat, Liu Kang needed to learn that every man chooses his own destiny.
So yeah, I've been sick for the most of the next day. I'd never been still throwing up from drinking by 8 p.m. the following day.
Dude, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, I have a great L story.
Okay.
This is crazy. This is really I was so on top of the world and I fucked it up so hard that I still haven't gotten over this. I haven't gotten over this. I went back to visit school. I had graduated. Okay. Now I show up at school. I had been talking to these two girls. They were girls who I had wanted to hook up all throughout college for a variety of reasons. It never happened. Part of it, I just didn't have the chutzpah to close at the time. After spending a year as an adult, I'm going back to school. Now this is my time. So I'm texting with both of them. And we go out to this club. I forget what the fuck it was called. It was in the alley though. It was one of those, remember that place in Boston where there was a club there? I forget what it was called.
Empire?
Yes.
Can't believe I got
That's where we went. Empire. So
Holy
we're there.
shit.
My girlfriend from college is there with her boyfriend. I'm kind of like not giving her the time of day. She's kind of like, oh, whatever. And then I see I see one of the girls, there's this Cuban girl and a Persian girl. They're both super hot. Like I was so into it, whatever. I end up getting like pretty fucked up. We go to Daisy Buchanan's after.
Yeah, Daisy Beaks.
On Newberry Street.
Mulberry Street.
Newberry
Street.
Yeah. And we go back to the apartment party after, right? And I'm with the Cuban girl. And like it's gonna go down. It's gonna happen. I'm like, this is crazy. But I was like slightly more into the other girl.
Mm-hmm.
She texts me being like, come down to my apartment. And I'm like, okay. So I go down to her apartment and I leave the other girl. And I'm just like, I'm so like in this place right now where at the time I thought I was being so cool, whatever. We kind of like start messing around a little bit, but like nothing really is happening. And like, I kind of only get like a tiny little kiss in, nothing really happens. And I'm like, fuck, like I'm fucking this up. I should try to go with the other girl. You know what I mean? Whatever. That's like kind of scumbaggery, right?
Bully.
She just doesn't respond. She like fell asleep or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, I fucked that up, whatever. Next night, okay, same shit. We go out. I end up taking like, I'm supposed to meet up with her at like 10 o'clock. I end up someone like gives me a pill. I take this pill. And instead of meeting up with her, dude, I get too fucked up and I pass out in my friend who I was staying over's bed. And he had two roommates who were two guys who were like pretty cool. And I'm just snoring the whole night while they're like, they're pre-gaming and I'm passed out in the bed snoring.
Oh God.
And the next day I like group text them all being like, dude, thanks for letting me stay over. Like, you know, living the good days again. And no one responds to my text.
What a loser.
And dude, I'm not kidding you. Like I've carried that with me. And those two guys who I was less good of friends with, like there have been moments where they've seen me in adulthood looking cool. And I'm just so relieved that I've received some redemption. One time,
their price.
I was at like a desk. I was in St. Bart's and I saw one of the guys at like a dinner and he like came over to say hi to the people I was with. And I thought he like was surprised that I was there and like thought I was cool. I was like, oh, like. And then another time I ran into this guy when I was like dating this girl who's super hot and he saw me. He's like, that's your girlfriend? And I was like, yeah. And then like, I thought that was somehow redemption, but dude, I've like I think back on it and it makes me so uncomfortable as I tell this story. I've still not
Damn, bro.
shaking it off.
Ouch. Major ouch.
I had it all, dude. And I got greedy and I was stupid.
Yes.
And
you cannot put too much on your plate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes too many options results in no options.
I know. And it never worked out.
What's that saying? A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush?
It could be.
I think that fits here.
Is that what it means?
I think that's right. I think it's the idea that if you've got something tangible that works, it's better than having the hope of two potential better options.
And dude, these two were equally matched. They were both girls who I was nuts about, and I just couldn't decide. And it was just this, yeah, dude, it was bad.
I mean,
it was rough.
I feel like that's happened to me, not necessarily where both of the girls were into me, but like you spread yourself too thin, right?
Yeah, yes.
You focus your attention in three different directions, and therefore nobody's receptive to it.
Yeah.
They're like, dude, you're not giving me, you don't care. Clearly, they can tell.
And dude, it was like wedding weekend syndrome. You know, you get there, you start drinking in a way you don't usually,
Yeah,
and before you
exactly.
know it, you just burn out, dude.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Okay.
I'm sweating telling the story. I'm like, this is brutal.
Anything else, Chris?
Yeah, we have like two more. if
Okay,
that's
cool. Let's hear 'em.
Perfect.
So a few episodes ago, Giulio told us about how his dad installed his bathroom cabinet and it didn't go great. So people want to know what's up. Is it still hanging in there or?
So dude, we found a really funny solution to this problem. So it's not fully straight. You can't tell, but it can't handle having any weight on it. And this bathroom, my bathroom is actually the bathroom that everybody uses in the apartment because my girlfriend's bathroom is part of our master bedroom. And then the other bathroom is my bathroom, but it's also the bathroom for everybody else.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah. We put a giant painting of Lil Young Big
Yes. I've seen it.
on the shelf. Francis has seen it.
Yeah.
So when you walk in, there's just this like painting of Lil Young Big that's light. So it sits on there perfectly. and it's a funny little gag for anyone who comes over
Love
and is
that.
familiar with the character.
Love it.
So that is the update with the shelf.
Good fix.
And then maybe one more. How's your little fitness journey coming along? How you feeling?
Mine?
Yeah.
Dude, it's a good question. So it's funny because moving has sort of like done more for that than anything else. You know what I mean? Like the me cultivating the food in my house has made a bigger difference than anything else, any lifestyle change. I've been drinking. I've been kind of living however I want. I still kind of watch what I eat. Like I'm not like a Nazi about it, but like I try to eat relatively healthy, whatever. And like I've continued to lose weight without even trying, because now I'm no longer in this house where there's like food everywhere and like temptation and anxiety. And so the fitness journey is going well. I'm not as like concerned about it, but I feel better. And I feel like, and you can probably tell in the clips, you know what I mean? I look a little more slender. And I feel good about it. So thank you for asking.
Yeah, both of you guys are killing it. It's good to see.
Thanks, dude.
I'm happy. It's gonna be the t-shirt summer, fellas. The summer of t-shirts.
The summer of t-shirts.
That's what it is. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Awesome, dude. Chris, what else we got?
People really took to you fighting about your imaginary kids. So did you want to hash out any more imaginary fights?
It's funny. I've thought a lot about this. And you know, I think that what Giulio and I learned from the discussion that we had was that, you know, we still love our kids. Kids are going to be kids.
Kids are going to be kids.
You have to try your best to instill the values that you believe in. But, you know, we made mistakes too when we were their age. We did. And how many do you think your dad ever had to do what we had to do with our kids?
I don't recall him ever having to do that.
Your dad never had to answer for your behavior to a father of a girl you were involved
Never,
with?
no.
That happened to me.
Really? Please.
Yeah.
Please.
Really awkward, really brutal.
It was bad. What happened?
So this was the era of AOL Instant Messenger. And there was one girl in my grade who was much more sexually advanced than everyone else, including probably the guys. Somehow, I don't even know why.
What was it, middle school?
Yeah, I think
That's why,
eighth grade.
Girls hit that sort of like maturity spurt a little sooner.
Yeah, but the others didn't, and she did. And
Just
she was
leading the
like,
pack?
she was just known as this girl who we kind of almost like were in awe of her because the things that we were hearing, and of course, you know, they weren't lies. Like she was happily open about it and talking about it and stuff. Were just stuff that like we were beyond our wildest dreams. Like we didn't expect that to happen for multiple years, probably. So. You know, she was hooking up with older guys.
Got it.
And coming back from like Sugarloaf, having, you know, given another guy a blowjob or something.
What's
and
Sugarloaf?
Sugarloaf was the ski mountain.
Oh,
in
cool.
Maine. And that's where like
on the lift, on the chairlift?
No,
Oh.
I think it was like, you know.
I don't ski. I don't know.
Yeah. People weren't really drinking. We weren't drinking.
Right.
But, you know, she was just sexually advanced.
Got it.
And grew up faster. And so I think one day, like she and I would, you know, kind of sext a little on AOL Instant Messenger. Yeah.
Yeah.
And somehow one day she left her window up and her dad read the messages that I had sent her.
Oh my God.
And I think I said something like, I want to finger you.
Yeah, right. Like
That
just
was
like
it.
middle school shit.
That was it. And he read that and he had coffee with my dad and talked to him about it. And dude, I swear to God,
Why?
the way that
What?
my dad told me about it sounded very similar to the way that you and I talked about it. Because apparently her dad wasn't like mad.
He
He was
said,
like, look,
"Listen."
boys will be boys. Like, I get it.
But you
whatever."
didn't even do anything. You didn't air her out. You're just like, I want to finger you with my penis.
Yeah. And I think she was also being like, that would be nice. I would love that.
Right. Which it's consensual.
Yeah. But like,
Consensual sexting.
you know, I don't think he knew that she was like doing way more than that with older boys.
Oh, right.
And I also had not done anything with her, nor did I.
Which imagine if your dad was like, well, she has been. if he knew,
like you think my son's bad, you should see.
Oh,
you know,
God. Oh,
like
God.
the junior dude. She
Oh,
would
God.
whatever. The whole point is
You would never go there.
that was so uncomfortable, you know, and man, that was like I hadn't even thought about that until just now.
Jesus, dude.
Yeah, man.
But you know, I'm glad that our kids like learned their lesson. It's like,
Yeah, that's it.
you know, you just got to be careful, especially when, you know, your dads work together and you just got to be careful.
That's it. You
Yeah.
gotta let them know how to be safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they're being stupid.
One last one. People want to know if there is any ring stuff coming soon, and what we haven't. I guess you kind of talked about it a lot in a little bit of span. We haven't talked about rings in a while. How are we feeling? What's the situation?
Yeah, I had some pretty strong opinions about rings for a while there. Like almost every episode.
Dude, you know what I
coming
did?
back to it.
Tell me what you think about this. So Hillary's like, she's like, I see this ring that I really like. I was like, let me see it. She goes, why? She's like, you're not getting rings for me now. I'm like, I know, but I want to see and know what you like. So, because one day you're going to forget about this. And by the time you forget about it, I'm actually going to be ring shopping. And then I'll have
Smart.
this as a reference.
That's smart.
Right?
That's smart. Do you know, did she show you?
Yeah. You want to see?
Yeah, I do.
Let me fucking see if I can. It's my favorites. Yeah, here it is, dude.
Whoa.
This
Okay,
guy.
so we're looking at what looks like a cushion.
Yeah. Does that mean the thing that props it up?
No,
What's
I think
that
it's the
thing called?
shape of the diamond.
Oh.
Oh, I could be wrong about that. Like a rectangular cushion, kind of.
I'm going to have to like screenshot this and the person at the store is going to be like, what the fuck are you showing me?
Yeah.
But it has a thing that like lifts it up a little, I guess. You want to see, Chris? I don't fucking
Little
know.
platform?
But this is a
Little
good
springboard?
starting place.
I mean, that one is enormous.
I know,
Let me see
fuck.
that again.
Big boy.
Yeah, that's huge. That would be a problem.
Fuck.
We would have needed to get signed by the network for that kind of a ring.
Fuck.
No, but yeah, that's a good play that you just did there.
It's
You're
good.
you're also good at that. Like you got me those 2 quarters from the state that I was
Oh,
missing.
yeah. Dude, I
And
gotta
I-
be honest. I was just kind of thinking that you off the fly threw out 2 names of states. And then in reality, those weren't even specifically the 2 states.
Those were.
They were actually?
Yeah, because I was at home and I had the board still, and I plugged them in there, and a portal opened. Out walked Noah, rock hard, and immediately we banged.
That's fucking great.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
dude, wow. What a wonderful.
yeah. I'll keep everybody updated about the ring. What I'll say is this: I have the beginnings of a plan.
Wow.
And they include very much keeping the Oops the Podcast audience in the loop.
Love it. Love it. Stay tuned, everybody.
Yeah. So
Awesome,
fun
man.
stuff.
Good shit. Dude, congratulations.
Thanks, man.
200 episodes.
200
Big deal.
eps.
Chris, happy birthday, buddy.
Yeah, Chris.
Looking good. Keep killing it.
You guys are the best.
You're
We
the
love
man.
you. Hope you'll be with us for another 200.
oopsthepodcast@gmail.com. Send us your thoughts, stories, whatever. Oops the Podcast on Instagram. Follow our YouTube, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let us know what's going on. I'm at Not Julio, at Francis CC Ellis, at Chris.mp4. Send him a birthday message.
Hell yeah.
And that's all. Thank you guys.